Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tipping the Scales. I'm your girl, LaShayla Shay Dawson.
Tania, what's up, tippers? What's
Hello.
good? What is good in the neighborhood?
What's good is
Well, tell everyone your good news.
I'm
Yeah.
officially certified yoga teacher.
What? Namaste.
Shout out to Get Loved Up, Koya Webb,
Yeah.
for her YTT training, her yoga teacher training that she held for the past 2 weeks. We've been all going strong. It's me and 8 other members just really learning how to. And now that I'm certified, I know that yoga is much more than the practice, much more than the flow. It's a way of life, sustainability, doing less harm, practicing constraints, the yamas and niyamas, like really just living better, being intentional with your life and with others' lives. And it's like, it's so resonated with me and you because this is who we are. And so I don't know if you guys know, but T is also a certified yoga teacher. So now I'm matching my twin once again.
Let's go, little sis.
Let's go. So yeah, it's
But
super
you're right.
exciting.
It's
Super
like
exciting.
mind, body,
Yeah.
like it's spirit. It's not just people think it's super good for lengthening, stretching, strengthening, building your core, like so many benefits for yoga. But in terms of like just getting your mind right, and when you need like a real reset and need to feel like you're grounded, you just kind of focus on your practice and add a little bit of meditation into that. It's like mind changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so timely because I've been really focusing on trying to get my steps in order. Like, healing is a journey, so it's forever.
Mhm.
And so it just came divine timing. My friend Koya called me. He's like, I know what you need. Come to yoga practice. I'm having a teacher training. And I was like,
Love that.
I'm not about to be no yoga teacher. And I kept
I'm
going.
loving it. We're about to open up I'm opening up a studio in the next couple of years. So we need to figure it out.
T, again. So there you go. There you go, tippers. You are listening to the divine alignment. And I continued to show up. And I showed up consistently to the point where it made no sense to not get certified.
Yeah.
As I started to study and learn, I still have a lot more to learn, but yeah. So
Cool.
I'm down. Can't wait till you open up your studio. I'm gonna define. I'm gonna refine my skills. So
awesome. Yeah, I was going again to go through like a new certification this year, but then I knew I had surgery, so I couldn't actually, because it's not just about like, of course you're reading and you're studying your practice, but you got to practice. And I knew I wouldn't be ready. So I probably would go through again, maybe like February. So I'm excited. It's just so good for so many different benefits. So check it out, guys.
So good.
All right. So today I thought we should talk a little bit about a subject that is important to me and something that I have been trying to be aware of and intentional about. It's centered. I know this is something that's huge for you. Like this is big for you in terms of energy, like being mindful of the type of energy that you're putting out in the world. Like that's like kind of like part one is what energy are you giving off to other people? And I think on the other side of that is you got to be mindful of the energy that you let in to your space. So we talk about mindfulness, we talk about, being free. People's energy can bring you down and pull you in the mud if you allow it to happen. But first things first, always start within yourself and look at the energy that you're giving other people. So that's kind of the vibe I'm feeling right now.
I mean, it's so in alignment, especially with yoga.
with your congratulations, boo. I'm proud of you too.
Thanks, boo. Thanks. And I definitely thought about you on the journey.
Awesome.
I mean, I thought about all the people who bring light into the world.
Yeah.
And so why not continue to do work on, self so that the energy that I'm putting out there, and that's why I don't like being sad. That's why I don't like feeling like that. I understand I must go through it. And that's why I did take some time to myself to really sit with my feelings, right? To really understand now I'm changed what I'm going to do going forward.
Yeah.
But I am super intentional about my energy as well as you. And
Yeah.
so this topic is actually fitting for just where I think we're going
Yeah.
as a unit, and where we're going individually, and where
Mhm.
the world needs to continue to focus because of all the things going on in the world.
Yeah.
Energy and energy and the exchange of energy is so important.
So important. And I think that's not to say that every day, like we all go through some tough stuff, right? Like if you're being a good tipper and you're listening to our episodes like you're supposed to do, wherever you get your podcast, you'll know that I talked about like, okay, I got this big, hairy, aggressive goal. I call it my BHAG goal that is, surgery. And it's actually tomorrow morning, first thing, top of the
Yeah.
morning. And
I didn't
I'm
know if you
trying
were
to
going
be
to bring it up, but
yeah, I could
I'm
talk
proud of you.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could talk about it because it's something that has been like zapping my energy, like
Mhm.
zapping everything from me because this is like a real fear. So
Mhm.
just so everyone knows, like this was something that was supposed to be done months ago and I was just too fearful and I couldn't do it. And I need to. Like I have a mass that needs to come out before it becomes a problem, right? So there's no like maybe I get it, maybe I don't. Like it needs to come out.
Mhm.
So I know that I have to tackle this. And I just been like on an emotional roller coaster because every day it's been like consuming me. And I'm sure the output of the energy that I'm giving to
Mm.
others isn't great.
Mm.
Right. And I'm thinking about that. And today I said, you know what? It just hit me like a
Yeah.
ton of bricks. And I said, all right, like for me, I know everyone handles adversity and challenges according to their own personal beliefs. And for me, it's like I need to draw myself closer to the Lord because that's what really keeps me grounded and that's where I get my faith and my strength. So today I just kind of took, I had the best cry you could like it was a sobbing cry. I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth, but it was a prayer for me just turning over all my fear, turning over everything that I can think of. You know, your mind is so powerful,
Yeah.
right? And my mind with that fear was telling me so many different things, Shay. It was saying like, oh, what if you don't have enough oxygen? What if you this? What if what if your hemoglobin level dropped because you had an issue with low iron? Like, what if all these things happen?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I can't worry about the what if. I can walk out the car. I can go walk out the house, get in the car, and God forbid could be in an accident. Like I can't worry about the what ifs. I have to trust
Yeah.
that this doctor, like this is a top world renowned doctor who created robotics. Like I'm going to the best of the best. And I need to trust that the Lord is going to guide me through
Mhm.
using this excellent doctor that I've chosen for me. So I'm just going through this crazy time where I feel like I'm on this ride up and down emotionally that I know is impacting the energy for sure.
Yeah, and I would say understanding energy is very important.
Hmm.
So knowing that when you're fearful like that, there are
Yeah.
good things on the other side.
Yeah.
It's just learning the modalities to get yourself to calm yourself,
Yeah.
remembering your breath, remembering to breathe, remember to just try to calm your nervous system because
Yeah.
it's the fight or flight response that's giving you all
Yes.
that anxiety.
Hmm.
So take this as like T, you know what to do. You've
Hmm.
been in these situations like talking to yourself, coaching yourself, and I'm sure you've been doing that, but just I'm just
Yeah.
reminding you as we talk on this
Yes. It's
podcast, it's just
great
like
reminder
you
that you could do
know
all
what to
things.
do.
That's
You
what I kept
know.
saying. I kept saying, okay,
Exactly.
T, you could do all things through Christ that strengthens you, because that's me. I know everyone has their own beliefs and I'm never going to judge, but this is what grounds me and keeps me going. Because without that, I don't think I would be able to move on, right? Like, so I keep saying, like, hey, you've done hard things before, and remember that, right?
And you've
Like,
done the research. You
yeah,
you intentionally did the research. You chose
yeah,
this doctor, you chose which day, you chose to get a hotel. You have planned it all out. You've controlled the controllables. So
yeah.
you have to understand the energy that you put out is the
Mhm.
energy that you're going to get from this doctor, from this surgery, and from
Yes.
so just know that.
Oh,
Just know that.
I'm so glad you said that, girl, because I literally remember the last time when the doctor was like, I can't do it. I can't do your surgery like this. Like, you're too much anxiety. I'm not even in the right headspace to go in. Like, you can't, I can't do your surgery. He called it off. And
I'm so
that
happy
was
you did.
so hard for me just a few months ago. And he called it off. He said, I can't have you going into the surgery with that mindset. I just can't. And he went and he like called it a wrap. And I said, okay, I need to wake up tomorrow morning with different energy and go in and say,
Mhm.
yes, have the yes, I can attitude that
Yep.
this is something that I can face. This is something that I can overcome.
Mhm.
This is something that I will overcome.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you said about how the
Control the
energy,
controllables.
yes, and being mindful of that.
And the energy that you're creating, it just think of like
Yes.
a wind tunnel,
Yeah.
and you're literally
Yeah.
making those deposits in that energy
Mm.
funnel. And so
Yes.
just know that, funnels go around, it goes around and around and around.
Mhm.
So you're
Mhm.
putting out good energy by making sure that you're as safe as possible, you're
Yeah.
supported and rooted as possible, and it's going to give it back to you, right? The earth, the
Right.
universe, the everything that you're doing is for the greatest good of you. And
Yeah.
so this man or this person, I don't know if it's a man, but I think it's a man.
Yeah.
But
Dr. Stifelman. Yeah.
okay, he has done this time and time again, and
Easy. Yes.
because he knows how much you care about yourself and love yourself, he's gonna now respect that like he did. He called it off the first time. He's gonna go off your energy. So again, if
Yeah.
your energy's not right, he's not gonna do it. So
Yeah.
get your energy right, get your
Yeah.
mind right, coach yourself, and it's gonna be fine. You're gonna be so happy. Next time we record, you're gonna be
That
like,
is done.
girl,
Next Sunday, I'll be like, what?
you can have the biggest smile from ear to ear, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
again, that's another hurdle in your life that you've been able
Yeah.
to jump over and just move out the way.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I received that. I appreciate that, sister.
Of course,
Thank you.
of course.
But it also gave me, had me thinking about who you let in their space. And I know we talked
Mm,
a lot about making sure that we have the right people in our circle at all times. But not only that, it's like check the energy that you're getting from the people around you because that stuff is contagious. It like jumps on you.
hmm
It's like worse than COVID. Like you think like worse than the flu or cold. Like negative energy will jump right on you. And it almost will feel like I know I can speak for myself that it feels like it's consuming,
hmm
like being around negative energy and now around negative people,
hmm
you almost you put that into your spirit.
hmm
And we just have to be protective of ourselves and the folks that, people can either pour into you or they can drain you. Like
hmm
they either filling your cup or they're emotional vampires. So who are the people around you? Do they fill your cup or are they sucking you dry?
I agree, and I think what I'm doing and learning to do is continue to take inventory.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
every couple times or maybe weeks or months, check the energy of that person because everybody goes through things and people change consistently
Yeah.
based on the things that happen to them, their experiences.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
don't know what people are experiencing every single
Absolutely.
day, week, months. So continue to take inventory of the energy. Just because someone's in your life and they're serving one purpose doesn't mean they're always going to either serve that purpose,
Yeah.
give that energy. They may be exhausted. They may be experiencing some low vibrational frequencies they may
Just
be
don't know.
experiencing, right?
Yeah.
You just continue to take inventory of the energy that you're watching. Take inventory of the times you thought, that didn't seem right. Or,
Right.
and then you take action accordingly. Maybe take some time from that person if you're sensing something that's maybe
Mm.
not right. Try not to get in the crossfires. Try not to get in the crosshairs. Try not to override what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Take a step back, But if someone's radiating really positively, spend more time with that person. Your environment will breed the next few things that happen in your life. So if you're around high vibrational energy and positive people and exciting
Mhm.
things, that's going to rub off on you. That's going to give you energy. That's going to fill you up. So continue to do that. But if you're sensing
Yeah.
some weirdness, some weird frequencies, take a step back and see what it
Yeah.
is. Maybe
See
ask a
what it
few
is.
questions. Maybe just, take a dabble at a few like just a few tests out there just to test the waters and make sure that it is exactly what you thought it was before. Because people change, things change, and sometimes there's no, PSA that allows you to know like this person's not the same person or this
Yeah.
person's been hurt. Now they're,
There's no
taking
cheat
out on you.
code or no book
Thank
that
you.
you can, it's
Mhm.
going to help you, right? You
Right.
have to look at your own experiences too and
Yep.
look at the consistency because like I said when I know for me I gave examples on how I just been highly stressed thinking about this upcoming surgery and you can
Yeah.
imagine like all the things that I'm experiencing that I'm probably not giving off the best energy either. But I think what you have to look at is, the consistency of the energy that you're receiving from certain people.
Mhm.
Because if it's pretty consistent and this is the energy you're getting all the time, no matter what, then that might be a
Right.
red flag.
Mhm.
But if it's something that, someone's going through a tough time or whatever, you have some level of understanding and as hard as it is, it's easier for me to say it because I'm going to say exercise some level of patience, even though that is the hardest thing for me to do. My patience is like
Mm.
very tight, but I do think that as human beings, and our jobs on earth is to love, and loving seems very difficult, especially through turbulent times, right?
Yeah.
But when you do love and you're understanding of people, it comes with some level of understanding and
Mhm.
patience as well.
I wanted to
Yeah.
go back to what you said. You said your patience is very thin, very little.
Yeah.
But again, that's part of noticing the intentionality of the people and the energy that they're bringing in your space.
Yeah.
You don't need to practice patience with someone like me
Yeah.
because I'm never gonna take you there.
Yeah,
You
now.
see what I'm saying? I'm never gonna
And I
test
feel like you
you.
get me.
And I'm intentional. I
Yeah.
want to take inventory of the things that you need.
Right.
I'm not always perfect.
Yeah.
There are times when I want to reach out to you more often when I know you're going through stuff, but also texting isn't the right way, but I may only have time to text, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
may want to call you, but you might have not have the energy to text, which you've expressed before. I mean, talk on the phone, but you've
Yeah.
expressed before, like, I actually don't want to talk about that right now. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
more of like, do what you can do when you can do it, and just
Mm.
know that the energy you're putting out there, someone appreciates. So, like,
Mhm.
when you have thin patience, that means that there are people actually trying to tap dance
Mm.
on your patience or trying to
Whoa,
test and
little
poke
click,
you.
click, click, clack, clack.
You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like just always being aware of that T and
Mm.
where that is happening, where your patience, where you always have to be mindful of your patience.
Yeah.
If you're around positive people and intentional people, you don't have to be mindful of your patience because they're always trying to make sure that you're good too.
Talk
Right?
about the filling up the cup part.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was at my yoga retreat and
Oh, isn't it so like the energy be on 1,000 at those yoga retreats?
right? But it's also like if I put a cup down, someone is asking, "Hey, whose cup is this? Would you like me to wash it and put it in the dishwasher?" Sure, I would like that instead of leaving it there, someone being like, "Who that?" It's just like everyone's trying to make sure that the space is appropriate
That's
and
positive mindset. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So why does it only have to happen at a retreat? Why can't it happen
Mm.
once we leave
More
there?
often.
That's what I'm thinking about more often. It's like my patients
Mm.
weren't tested there not once. Not
Wow.
once. Why? Why is that?
Wow. I
And
think too
why are
is
you having to think about your patients and how are you able to notice that it's that thin? Who is
mm,
doing that and why are they doing it?
that's a really good point that I think we should explore. Because you're basically saying if someone's constantly like nagging or hitting at that it requires a certain amount of patience. And you're saying that if you have those positive people around you that are basically injecting you with that love, that energy, all those things that you need, then your patience won't be tested as much.
Exactly. Meaning I know what bothers you. I
Mhm.
know what you're going to be pissed about.
Mm.
Maybe not all the things,
But
but
the main things.
I
Yeah.
know from our relationship what those things are.
Right.
I would be a bad friend. I would be a bad sister if I knew those things and I did the shit anyway. And I consistently, and because it's what I want to do,
Yeah.
knowing that that's not how T wants to be loved, knowing that's not how T wants to curate that space. Oh,
Right.
because I just want to do that because that's just what I want to do. To me, that kind of personality or that kind of like exchange is not okay, right? It's like
Right.
so that's what I'm saying. So it's like there's different mindsets of people that you need to consistently put yourself around that it's like I don't have to think about this because I know Shay likes a clean house too. I
Mm.
know she's not gonna leave a ring on my table. I know she's not gonna kick her feet up and put it on my white couch. I know I have on jeans that could dye the couch, so I'm gonna sit on the chair when I come to her house. It's just like
Mm.
there are things that you can do
Yeah.
to show a person
Yeah.
without saying you love them or without saying you appreciate them. You will know by the actions. But if someone or people are consistently wearing your patience thin, that means they don't
Mhm.
give a fuck.
Mm.
They don't care. Because
'Cause
people
they
who
should
care,
know your
it's like
person.
breathing. It's like breathing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to think. You don't have to
Mm.
think. If I make a mess, cleaning that shit up. If I come to your house and you cook, I'm helping you put the dishes away.
Being very
There,
much intentional.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word. I mean,
Intentionality
it's
is where it's
so
at.
cliche
Yeah.
these days, but that's it.
Yeah. Intentionality is serious.
That
It's
and that's what
important.
I want. I want the
Mm.
same thing, the energy from you. So I'm gonna give you the
Yeah.
same. So therefore, there's the energy. There's the
Yeah.
energy exchange right
That's
there.
that output that you're giving as well. Yeah, I like that. I
That's
think
what you do.
yeah,
That's
I
why you
like
get hurt when people don't give it back to you because your
yeah.
love language is on 100. So when people are giving 10%, you're like,
Yeah?
the fuck? Like this
Oh
is
my
the
gosh.
math ain't mathing.
The crazy part is I don't know how you do this, but you always do. You feel what I'm saying without me saying it. You just do all the time. And then the things that I may be struggling with, you just always give me some little nuggets, be like, here, chop on that.
Because it's
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Love is an action.
Yeah.
Love is intentional. Love is
Yeah.
kind. Love is
Yeah.
giving.
Love
That's
is
what love.
patient.
And I want to give you that,
Yeah.
whether I see you
Oh.
every day or not. Every time
Mhm.
you interact with me, you know this shit is going to be lit. You know it's going to be
Yeah.
positive. You know it's going to be like, I'm surveying. I may not ask you what's wrong, but I'm looking at you. I'm seeing where your energy's at. I'm seeing what
Mhm.
annoys you. I'm watching because I care.
Yeah, 'cause
You
you
know?
care. And when you care, you handle things a little bit differently, right? You're being protective over your
Hmm.
loved one or that person that
Hmm.
is in your circle. And I think that's something that we can be mindful of too. And you know, that's not to say that again, because I think sometimes it's easy for us to look at faults in others, but it's not easy when you got to look within yourself and
Yeah.
course correct and figure out like what are some things that I can do differently.
That's a good, we can go there. I like
And
that.
kind of like how can I
So let's
treat
flip it.
others better,
Hmm.
right? Because
Hmm.
I do think like yes, we know that we need to be very much protective of our space,
Yep.
of the people who are around us.
Yep.
And if again, if people are not filling you up and they feel like and you feel like they're zapping you constantly, then we know what you know what to do,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But I also think that especially now with yoga and you're going to be practicing more often, like a lot of it is self-reflection. So, and looking within yourself. So, if you're looking within yourself, like what are some things that you can change? Because I'm always trying to be mindful of how I treat other people. And I know by far I'm not perfect and I can always do better. But I do think we can spend some time in looking at ourselves. Like again, is not I think your energy comes from how you treat people, like and how you look at situations too. Like again, we talked about how powerful your mind is, but you know, that's going to help you determine your energy is how you
Yeah.
perceive certain situations
Yeah.
before it even like radiates into whatever space is going to go into.
Yeah.
It starts up here. It starts with the
Yeah.
mind.
I
And how
agree.
you perceive it is how you're going to receive it. It's just
I agree.
kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay. So I think what I can do is to continue to hone in on my communication skills because I think that's the
Mm,
foundation of any misunderstanding or
always.
any right disagreements or anything like that.
Yeah.
So just to continue to tweak that part of me that's like I communicated, but I could have communicated earlier. I could have
Mhm.
communicated often. I
Mhm.
could have sent a follow-up. I could have added more context.
Yeah.
I could, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I do a pretty good job of when I'm in person, but sometimes when I'm not in person, I could be a little bit withdrawn.
Yeah.
And I think not everybody needs that because there are some people who are very secure in who they are and they don't need me to add more context or any of that. It's more like whether she comes, or she doesn't, she doesn't, you know.
Right.
But there are some people who are more sensitive. And I, as somebody who aims to create the best possible human experience person to person, knowing, taking that inventory and knowing who there's more sensitive people are that I do care about, I might could communicate a little bit earlier and maybe a little bit more often to let them know because some people, like I said, don't have that security of knowing that our relationship is maybe as strong as it is, or
Mhm.
they just may have some stuff within them that's not my
Yeah.
technical concern. But if
Yeah.
I care about them, I might try to add a little bit more like, "Hey, just letting you know this has nothing to do with you. I'm dealing with this, so just give me a little time or give me some
Yeah.
grace."
Give you some time.
Instead of letting time go by where they're creating a story in their head that could be detrimental to them, to our relationship,
Sure.
to self-esteem. So I think I could do better at tweaking my relationship communication, if that makes sense.
It makes 100% sense. And I
So,
also think too, when you think about that and you talk about being a better communicator, because yes, communication is like at the center of the core of any relationship, right?
mhm,
Whether it be a relationship with a partner, a relationship with a coworker, a relationship with a friend, communication is at the core. But I think if we take another layer down or kind of look within, all right, how do I successfully communicate? It
mhm.
starts with listening. It sounds so simplistic in nature, but
That's good.
oftentimes we are so hyper focused to say what we have to say and get what we have to say off our chest, and we want to be heard, want to
Mhm.
be heard right now, and we don't listen. That's why we have two ears and one mouth. We should be listening more than we speak, and
Yeah.
that's just not the case. So if we're going to be commit to communicating better, then I do think we need to start with how can I listen to you? How can I hear you? How can
Yeah.
I actively be listening to you so that you understand,
Mhm.
so that I understand you and we can kind of better understand each other. I think that's
Mm.
important as well.
Mhm. I'm taking
Yeah.
that in.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
hard. Like we want to be heard, but how good are we at listening? That's hard.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think
Mhm.
oftentimes to that point, that's why I always try to ask the question of like, what happened to you?
Mm.
You know? Because
Yeah.
a lot of the times, people always it's almost like when you're in school, someone hits you, the teacher doesn't see it, and then you hit him back,
And
and
the
then you
teacher
get in
sees it.
trouble.
Yeah, like I saw you.
Uh-huh.
Like, what? We didn't see
But
that.
instead of saying, why did that person hit that person? Like,
Mhm.
what was the cause of it?
Right.
So I think in listening, just trying to listen to the causes of like what happened to
Yeah.
people, right?
Right.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
what happened to people. And also to like, I could be better at having hard conversations.
Those
Um,
courageous conversations, they're
yeah,
tough, but
sometimes
very much
I
necessary.
shy away from it.
Mhm.
And I recently actually had a situation where I hadn't talked to my grandfather in 2 years. And I mentioned that on an episode,
You did.
and I cried about it because I was so torn about it, but I didn't feel the need to act and call him because I knew I couldn't change the result of the conversation. I was so afraid.
Yeah.
And then after my yoga practice, I think after the second day, I think I
Mhm.
had screamed, cried, I did
Oh,
breath
wow.
work, I had released a lot of energy to the point where I felt like level.
Mm.
And I was manifesting to repair the relationships that I've been avoiding in
Mhm.
my life because my sister passed and I hate that
Mm.
feeling of not being able to talk to her until like, I told you that before that I loved her and you told me that it was really helpful that she loved me.
Absolutely.
And she did. And she knew I loved her and I believed that, but I
Absolutely.
but my mind was telling me that maybe there was a chance she didn't. So
Mhm.
back to my grandfather, so I was manifesting that and in the practice I had my phone in my purse, but my Apple Watch rang and it was him and he called me.
Wow. Wow.
And I wanted to answer, but I was like, "No, I gotta stay in my practice. I'm doing my work." So
Yeah.
I thought I missed the opportunity, and then on the way home, he called me again, and we had a conversation,
Yeah.
and it was the hardest conversation I've ever had
Mm.
because my grandfather is known as a very hard, stubborn person. Almost, people can categorize him as, a bully,
Mhm.
but that's just what he's used to. He's used to having to be that person.
Mhm.
But I was brave this day, and
Mhm.
I just didn't back down in my sharing of how I felt. And I did it out of love to say, like, I know nobody tells you these things. So this is my opportunity to just give it all out. It's been 2.5 years. If I don't tell him this now, we're never going to have a relationship. And I know he
Yeah.
wants a relationship.
Mhm.
And so he almost passed by, he
Wow.
was dehydrated and some other things, some other complications. And he told me, he said, I didn't want to go without talking to you.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna
That
get
hits different.
emotional
Yeah.
because I want to, but I'm not because I'm
Yeah.
strong in this moment. I'm my
Yeah.
I'm strong, and I just
Yeah.
share that to say, like,
Mhm.
that was another, like, notch on my belt and a lesson to know that, like,
Yes.
after a hard conversation can come the best work possible, and the best
Yeah.
I'm becoming the best person after confronting my sister's death and talking to my
Yeah.
dad and repairing that relationship. And
Yeah.
so, I don't know how to get there because I
Mhm.
obviously didn't make the first step and call him, but I
Yeah.
did take the phone call. So I
That's
do
right.
give some credit to myself for having that hard
Absolutely, for not
conversation, you
being
know?
afraid.
Yeah.
And what you said is so important that tippers, look, none of us will have the right answers, right? Like we're trying to constantly wake up, like it's a blessing to wake up every day, but we're on this cycle called life and we're working very hard at it. And we know just the things that are thrown our way, there's going to be things that are sometimes very much disruptive to the system. And what we cannot do though is shy away from the hard things, right? Like I talked
Mhm.
about, like tackling the surgery tomorrow. Shay talked about how she took the first step by answering a call that she otherwise probably would not have wanted to do because she knew on the other side of that would be a very difficult, courageous conversation that she would need to have on the other end. So we must be mindful, tippers, of not only the energy that we're giving people, the
Mm,
energy that we're receiving. We got to make sure that we remind ourselves that, guess what? This thing called life is difficult, it's
mhm,
challenging, but we got to do the hard things, right? Like
mhm,
we must do the hard things in life in order to be successful, in order to have mental peace, in order to live. You got to do the hard things. So
mhm.
I applaud you, Shay,
Thank you.
for picking up that call, even though it was difficult, because you took the first, like, you did right by what you had to do. And you took the first step in the right direction of repairing the relationship between you and your grandfather. So I'm incredibly proud of you.
Thank you. And I'm proud of you too. And what came to my mind when you just said that in close is like, you wanna be a healthy person.
Hmm.
And you want a relationship with yourself that
Yeah.
feels good. You wanna be able to eat and run and exercise
Yeah.
and do all the physical things that make you happy because you are a physically competitive, excitable person who loves to travel.
Yeah.
I want a healthy relationship with my grandfather, and I want him to know that I wanna be loved a certain way, and that may be
Yeah.
different from how he was raised, but I think
Mm.
going into where we're at in the world, I think that's what he probably hasn't been able to communicate that he wants too. I know that he
Yes.
doesn't want to be stubborn. I think he may want that, but I think he just doesn't know how, or maybe, and I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like when we got to the end of the conversation, it was at a good place and it was at a new place that we had never
That's
been.
good.
And I'm willing to explore that. And so, yeah,
Hit the
and
reset
I
button.
yeah,
Hit the
exactly.
reset button.
I
Hit the
like that.
reset button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Is there an area in your life, tippers, that you can hit the reset button? Now's the time. Tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So do the work that you need to do to
Mm.
be a better version of you and be better for others. Fair? Okay. Well, thank you, tippers. We appreciate you as always. Please make sure to continue to follow your girls, Shay and T, on Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcasts. Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye.